Hi everyone, it's Front Row Phyllis. My next guest is a multifaceted force in the world of Broadway. He is a musician, actor, writer, and I'm sure you've heard his radio show on Sirius XM on Broadway, Seth Speaks. Welcome, Seth Rudetsky, and thank you for joining us.
Thanks, Phyllis. I love that we're in the actual theater itself, the Studebaker.
Right?
With all the fog, I feel very Phantom of the Opera and Wicked.
Very wicked. Okay, let's talk about last night's show and the reason why you're in Chicago for this incredible show. So what I read was that it's not pre-planned.
No.
Like it's off the cuff.
Yeah,
How do you do that?
Well, it's not literally like, who are you? Like, I don't know what the person's credits are and what their songs are, but I can't stand scripted shows because I really like the audience to experience something unique. So I don't ever they never do their own patter, my guests. I always interview them. They don't know what I'm gonna ask them. And then in terms of songs, something spontaneous always comes up. Like when I was interviewing, like let's say Sutton Foster, she was like, oh, I played Annie when I was 10. I was like, what? And like I went to the piano and I was like, hit it. So there's always, it's spontaneous because I don't like people going, I already saw that person in concert. I want it to always be different.
You know, when you were younger, did you always know that you wanted to go into the theater business?
Yeah, I saw my first Broadway show when I was 4, Hair.
Okay.
So I was naked for the next
Hair?
3 years. I know, it was inappropriate,
Okay.
nude.
Nice family.
I know, they were just sort of like, you know, it's about love and anti-war. But I knew I was a really good musician, I was a really good pianist, and I was studying classical music, but I know I didn't want to do classical music, even though I went to a conservatory. I was always obsessed with Broadway. So I basically knew, but I didn't know what I was going to do on Broadway, whether I was going to be a performer, a musician, or a writer, and I kind of just decided to kind of do it all. And that's what I really enjoyed, is not slotting myself into anything, always doing a lot of different things, which has backfired in many ways, because agents are always like, we don't know what to do with you. And I'm like, pick one thing I do well and represent me. Like, you do too many things, whatever. But
Right.
I've enjoyed it that way, doing multiple things. I like it. I don't like focusing on just one thing. I have
Right.
ADHD. I mean, for real, I have it.
So if you didn't go into this business, what would be the next?
Social worker,
Okay.
because I love, when I was in group therapy, they always call me the assistant therapist, kind of a passive aggressive remark because I was always being like, your problem is, but the point is I sort of love knowing what people's problems are, or working with animals. Like I would own a shelter.
Oh, really?
My 2 obsessions, yeah, absolutely.
What kind of animals? What are they?
Dog, I mean, 100% dogs.
Right.
And I don't know if your viewers know, but every animal that has been on Broadway since Sandy and Annie, they've all been rescues. This one guy, Bill Berloni, trains them all, and he
Wow.
rescues them. And then what I love is that once their Broadway show closes, they come and live on his farm, and he leaves my radio show on all day long. So when they're walking around, they're like, oh my God, that's my song. The dogs will know it. So
That's
isn't that great?
incredible.
So they're
That's
all
so
adopted.
great.
So I would love to have that, like a big farm with tons of animals, and run it.
Now, do you have dogs?
Oh yeah.
How many?
4, really 2, but really 4, because my husband and I have 2, but we also live with his mother-in-law half the year, and whenever my Broadway cruises go out, we always stop in an animal shelter with my passengers. So when we stopped in Puerto Rico, we adopted Mateo, and when we stopped in Aruba, we adopted Chrissy. So we have all the doggies. I love dogs.
I know. I have 2.
You
So
have 2.
English cream. And do they all get along?
Yeah, they all get along. I would say we have a cat too, and they all
Yeah.
get along with the cat, except for Mateo from Puerto Rico. They all play with the cat, but Mateo's like, I actually want to eat you. So
Right.
that's the only issue. The other dogs love to play, but Mateo's like, chomp, but they love each other.
Oh, that is so sweet. You know, you have met incredible Broadway legends and celebrities. And
Amazing.
do you remember one piece of advice one of them told you that really stays in your head?
Advice, that's so interesting. Okay, hold on, because of course there's so much. But I will say, I will steal from someone else. So Charles Busch, one of my idols, he's a brilliant writer and performer. He was doing his show and the audience was not laughing and he was really trying to get laughs. And Zoe Caldwell, this famous actress, came to see him and he didn't know she was there. And she was like, you're an amazing actor. I never want to see you do that again. You can't push for an audience. And he really made me realize that, like, when something's not going well, you can't force it onto an audience, because when you do that to an audience, they do this. So I really try to listen to Charles and just basically sink into myself and not be desperate. So Charles's advice through Zoe Caldwell, I really tried to take in.
I love that. And we can't wait for tonight's concert.
Studebaker Theater. Wait, don't tell me. My favorite theater.
Studebaker. I know. And we can't wait to see you back in Chicago.
And by the way, we're
Hopefully
matching.
soon.
We're both showing off our guns.
We are showing off our guns.
What up with that?
That's what we're
Not
supposed
even
to
planned.
do.
But I have this weird black and blue mark. Any dermatologists out there? Why not this black and blue? We'll talk later.
Live from the Studebaker Theater, it's Front Row Phyllis.